Today we're going to look at adding and subtracting rational expressions, and we're going to start with adding and subtracting when I have like denominators. So you might remember when I was adding and subtracting regular fractions, you would have to have a common denominator. So I could add something like this and get 3/4, but if I had, say, 1 over 5 and 3 over 4, I would need to get a common denominator, in that case 20. It's the same idea when we're dealing with fractions that have variable expressions. So I always need to check if I have a common denominator. In this first problem, we do, so I can just add the numerators. You want to pay attention to what sign you have here. When it's addition, we don't really need to worry very much, but when it's subtraction, we need to be careful. So I get x plus 8 over x minus 5, and that's not going to simplify any further because my numerator does not factor. So looking at the next one, I'm not going to multiply out the bottom because it'll be helpful in the next step if I do not do that. So we're going to do x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 4x plus 12 all over my common denominator of x plus 5, x minus 2. So that's going to give me x squared plus 7x plus 10 over x plus 5, x minus 2. The last step is really important, which is, does the numerator factor? My first problem, it didn't, so I could just stop the problem. But in this problem, my numerator does factor. I know that it factors because if I check with the x, do I have two things that multiply to 10 and add to 7? Yep, 5 and 2. So that gives me x plus 5, x plus 2, over my denominator x plus 5, x minus 2. And now I have a common factor that I can reduce to 1, which gives me a final answer of x plus 2 over x minus 2. Now we get to a subtraction problem, and this is where you want to be really careful and specifically be putting parentheses around your second numerator so you don't forget to distribute. So x squared minus 2x plus 3 minus parentheses x squared minus 4x minus 5. And I'm going to simplify the numerator a little bit before I put it over the denominator just to save some space. So I can distribute that negative. I'm just going to bring down my first numerator, and this is going to switch all my signs. Minus x squared plus 4x plus 5. So my x squared terms are going to reduce, and then I'm going to get 2x plus 8 over x squared plus 7x plus 12. I noticed that I have a GCF in the numerator, so I'm going to factor that and see if I can cancel anything with the bottom. So I get 2 times x plus 4, and now let's see, two things that multiply to 12 and add to 7 are 4 and 3, and I do in fact have a common factor in the top and bottom that I can now reduce to 1. So I'm left with, for my final answer, 2 over x plus 3. Now we have on the back some larger problems, but we're going to treat them the same. Don't forget about your parentheses that you really have around these numerators. So like on the front, since I have a common denominator, I'm going to simplify my numerator just a little bit to save some space. But really, this is all over my denominator. So x squared plus 5x plus 1 minus 4x plus 5 plus 7x plus 9. So let's see, x squared, no other x squareds. I have 5x minus 4x is x, plus 7x is 8x. And then I have negative 1 plus 5 is 4, plus 9 is 13. the top factors into x plus 3x plus 5 over x plus 3, and reduce. Next, we have a simple addition problem with a common denominator. So I get 5x plus 15 over x squared minus 9. I notice in the top I have a GCF, so I'm going to factor that out. 5 times x plus 3 over x plus 3 x minus 3, difference of squares. And in fact, I do have a common factor that I can reduce to 1, which gives me a final answer of 5 over x minus 3.